Hi, I'm Bruna. I'm here to talk about a little bit about Big Open Source Sister. That is a project to welcome newcomers to free and open source software, especially people from underrepresented groups. And I'm going to tell a little bit about myself. So I'm a software engineer. I'm a PyLady. I worked with the PyLadies local branch in Brazil and in my city, especially. So we organized some events and we went to the campus party and it made a lot of things. And with the PyLadies experience, I started to engage in other projects as well. So this is how I became the boss organizer. We started this project last year and it's been amazing. I'm also learning Brazil Sign Language because I want to communicate better with deaf people in Brazil. So I think that if we want to welcome more people and bring diversity and work with people that are underrepresented in any space whatsoever, I think we need to look to people with any disabilities too. So that's why I'm learning Brazilian Sign Language too. But I'm here to talk a little bit about BOSS. That's been my little pet for the last year. The Big Open Source Sister is a mentoring program, and we focus on people that are underrepresented in the technology area. We focus on welcoming and guiding them through the basics of contributing to open source software community. So what do? We want them to be able to contribute, to communicate in the communities. We want them to know how to expect and how to ask for help. That's one of the main objectives here. So which community and which project and how we wanted to do this. So, sorry, there's a plane going through here. As language is a huge barrier and a huge difficulty, we wanted to break it. So we wanted to focus on a community that is local, that people can engage and doesn't have this big step that they need to go on through. So we used Rasa, and especially the project Rasa Boilerplate from LAPPIS. I'm going to talk a little bit about the community and what it represents and what it does and who are these people. So the Rasa Brazilian Portuguese Boilerplate is a project from an university lab, a university that I was a professor in, and there we have a strong sense of the free and open source software community too. So one of the projects that we had was building a chatbot for a Brazilian government ministry. So as a sub-project of that, we had this project here. And this project implements features, examples, and integrations that are commonly used by the Rasa Brazil community. We have a group on Telegram, a Brazilian group of Rasa in Telegram, that we talk about difficulties and what we do and how to overcome something. And we share a lot of things there. I forgot to put the link in here, but if you're from Brazil and you want to engage more with the community and it's not already in the group, you can talk to me in the comment section and we go through this. So here's the project. I have a screenshot here in my presentation that shows the repo. So, but what does this boilerplate brings to the community? What does it have? We have a few examples here. The first one is the most simple one. We have the integration with the web chat, and we show how, and we have tutorials. I think it's a Gitbook tutorials for the project, and we have a tutorial on how to integrate the web chat with your own website and deploying your chatbot. We also have it for the Telegram, so we have a full tutorial on how to talk to the bot father on Telegram and how to deploy your chatbot and make this connection so you can talk to your bot from your Telegram app. We also have the Rocket Chat integration. It was broken until, I guess, September, November, and someone fixed it. So thanks everyone that participates in the community too. We have another example on how to use queues, especially RabbitMQ here, to pass the events that goes in the chatbot to another place. And we have an Kibana example, Kibana and Elasticsearch integration. We also have dashboard examples. So we have a dashboard that you can plug into your Rasa chatbot, and you can see what's going on. I think there's a metric on how many chats were opened, how many interactions in the chat, but we also have a tutorial explaining how to make your own dashboards and bring your own analytics to it. So that's some of the things that we have in this Boilerplate project. But what is the BOSS project? What do we do in BOSS? Here I have a simple timeline that shows what we do in BOSS. So we have 4 main phases here. So the first one, we call them little sister because the name is big open source system. And we have the little sister, they are the participants of the project. We want them first to learn about communities, what they are, what they do, and how can I communicate with them, and the technologies to be able to speak and understand with people in the community. We have the second phase that we want them to learn about Rasa Boilerplate. We want them to create their own chatbot and make their own integrations and feel what is easy to do, what is hard to do, what is broken, what does not work. We want them to see for themselves this experience. So in the third phase, we want them to contribute to the Rasa Boilerplate, especially based on their experiences. And the last phase, we want them to be able to go forward in other communities and contribute to them. We want them to have this autonomy. We want them to be able to speak for themselves and go forward and solve problems and find new bugs and talk to people about these new bugs too. So I'll go here in a little more detail in each of these phases. So in the first phase that we want them to learn about communities and technology, we talk about how communities work, and especially that some of the communities that are not sponsored, or there's not a big company behind it, and how it organically makes things happen. So we talk to them about these things. We help them and teach them how to communicate on issues, how to communicate in the groups, how we communicate in IRC. I don't know if I know there are some of the communities that still use it. But besides this, we go through the basics of Linux, versioning, especially Git and GitHub. So, and we want them to be able to work remotely and asynchronously, especially because most of the communities have to work in this in this format because of people in different time zones. So in the second phase, we want them to learn more about Rasa and Rasa Boilerplate and how to create their own chatbot and have this experience. So we go for the chatbot concepts, we talk about entities, we talk about stories, we talk about these things that are completely new to them. We talk also about the Rasa architecture and how things integrate with each other within this project. We talk a little bit about Python, so they can be able to create their own Rasa actions and their own integration with other APIs and other systems. We talk about Rasa slots, talk about Rasa entities. And the last thing that we talk in this phase is about how to deploy your chatbot to any of the platforms that we have as example, as I said before. In the third phase, they had already had this experience and felt the pain and felt the pleasure in overcoming these problems. So we want them to be able to work on open issues in the repo. We want them to open new issues that they found in the last phase. We want them to be able to communicate on these issues, talking about a bug so the maintainers can understand what you are talking, or going on an issue that was not open for by them, so they can understand what the other person is trying to communicate, and so they can understand and help and fix bugs. We also talk about documentation, and because of the problems that they faced before, they already know that some things in the documentation might be broken and it's not good. We have a documentation as a living thing. So in the last phase, we want them to find new communities. Go forward to other communities, not only contribute to this own community. In the first season that we had, there was only one, but in the first season that we had, the last month of the project was on October, so it was the Hacktoberfest, so they could easily find other communities and contribute to them. Most of our little sisters were able to participate on the Hacktoberfest and gain their badge or their t-shirt. But how do we do all these phases? How can we work on that? We have online classes. We have cycles in this project. The cycles are 1 week cycles, and in each week we have all of these things. We have an online class so that we can overcome these technical skills gaps that we have. So we go to this online class and talk about this content. And these classes are also available in video on YouTube after the meeting. We also have the mentorship that happens weekly too. But this mentorship is not a technical mentorship. It's what we want with this mentorship is to help them overcome the confidence gap and to be able to speak for themselves too. We have practices that each one of them have to just kind of little homeworks, and they do by themselves. And we try to pair them each week with different little sisters so they can try to work together, not only together in the same time, in the same call, but maybe talk to each other and do this work together, but asynchronously. So these are some of the things that we do every week. And in the first season, we had 12 weekly meetings. We had a 3-month program. So we had a lot of content. Here I have some screenshots showing how much our repo grew. So we have here 45 commits ahead of the main repo. We have 12 forks only from our fork of the repo. but there were people that forked from the original one. We had 18 closed pull requests to the main project. We had 10 open issues that were made by one of our little sisters. And here I have an interesting chart that I want to talk about, because this chart shows more than a year and a half, I think, of commits in the Boilerplate project. So we can see that in 2019 we have a lot of commits. In 2020 there's fewer commits. I cannot say it was almost zero, but almost. I think it was. And I have something that is highlighted here. There is something from August to November that we had a peak of commits every day in this repo. That was when we were running the big open source system project. So we brought the project from the dead. Here I have a GIF that shows the weekly commits, and we can see each day of the week and how much they work. And most of the weeks the work was done more on the Mondays. That was when after the online class. As a sub-project of this, we had the Talk Like a Boss. It's a series of interviews. We didn't want to make it as interviews. We want to bring women that are thriving in the workplace to talk to our little sisters, but we could not find agenda to fit everyone. So we wanted to make the solution we found was to make them as a interview series for our YouTube channel. Sorry guys, it's in Portuguese, and we do not have the subtitles for English yet, but if you understand Portuguese, you can go and see on our YouTube channel. We had some interviews about working and being paid with open source software. We had code jams. We talked about outreach, documentation, mentorship, career, underdog syndrome, cybersecurity, and the Brazilian GDPR too. So this is a series of interviews that I'm very proud of. And I want to talk about the community engagement challenge that was proposed by Gnome. This challenge is something that Gnome was trying to overcome, is the problem with engagement by people that are newcomers to the open source software world. So last year, I think in April or in May, they proposed this challenge, and we started talking about it, and we wanted to submit a project, and we submitted. So we were one of the 149 projects, and we were a phase 1 winner, where they selected 20 projects only. And we are phase 2 winner too, and we are among the top 5 projects. We are now the only the project that has only women organizing and mentoring and teaching. So we have only women in our team. Something that we want to change in the next season of the project is we want to bring more diversity. We want to bring non-binary people here. So maybe we will change the big open source sister to big open source sibling, so we can welcome more people in our community and help more people and more diverse people to go to the open source area. So thank you everyone. Thank you everyone who watched it. Thank you everyone that helped and participated in the project. So if you want to see more things, I have here the link for the GitHub.